Welcome to episode 54 of Believe in TCU, presented by FanDuel. I'm Zion Trammell, and I'm joined by Seth Dowdle. We've got a fun episode today talking about the TCU football schedule. We're just a few weeks away, Seth, from the Horned Frogs taking the field. One of the last teams to start here in week one, but that's all right. We're
The very last team to start,
is
actually.
it the last?
Yeah,
Yeah, saving the best for last.
saving us in North Carolina for last.
Yeah. But we're still super excited. Can't wait to get this season underway. In fact, if you go on the TCU football website, it says we're 25 days, 8 hours, and 42 minutes away as we're recording this from TCU versus North Carolina from Chapel Hill. But we are going to go through the schedule and we're just going to kind of talk about each game and give some um, our thoughts on it and maybe early record predictions and all that good stuff. So let's waste no time, Seth. Let's get right into it. TCU versus North Carolina, Monday, September 1st. It'll be the first matchup since 1997 between TCU and North Carolina. The Tar Heels won 31-10. So pretty rough game. Do you know who's the quarterback in 1997, Seth?
Got no clue.
No clue. Yeah. Well, TCU has never defeated North Carolina in uh in their very
In
brief
field hockey or
history
football?
in
Probably
football.
probably in neither, actually.
Yeah, probably neither. Um, should be an elite uniform matchup,
Pretty
must say.
good. Pretty good stuff here. This is yeah, if you're it's Monday, it's Labor Day, September 1st. Everyone's at home. I bet you everyone at home is thinking, wow, cannot wait for this elite Carolina blue TCU Orange Rock purple matchup that's going to be on my screen. Uh, I'm sure this is exactly why this game is playing standalone on Monday.
Exactly.
No
No
other
no other
reasons.
storylines, not because of Bill Belichick or it's because of the uniforms.
That being said, I do want to say, is Bill Belichick that much of a grab for the regular human being to tune into this game on Labor Day?
No, I don't think it has the same pull as Deion Sanders coming to Colorado.
I don't think so either, because Bill, off season girlfriend antics aside, is just kind of like a boring dude.
Mm-hmm. Great coach, obviously. Boring dude. Yeah.
I mean, like the most fun thing I ever saw him did is whenever Randy Moss invited him to that Halloween party whenever whenever he was the Patriots head coach. That's the funniest thing I remember him doing.
Well, and what's interesting too is, I mean, when I went to Big 12 media day and just asking the players, they didn't really seem to care that it was Bill Belichick. Um, I heard Eric McAllister, because I asked him that. That was kind of a media level question. That wasn't probably wasn't one of my best, but just curious to see if they had any thoughts about it. And I heard Eric McAllister say under his breath, "Well, we're playing UNC. We're not playing Bill Belichick." And so they obviously probably admire him. I mean, you know, we all grew up watching the Patriots dominate, at least in our generation, and so. But they don't really seem to have much of a thought about it. It's just another matchup. And I think if TCU can treat it like that, they should probably win this game.
Probably I have fear. I have fear though about this. My fear is that much like with the Colorado game, where you give a team months and months to prepare for one singular team, and that was Colorado's case. That was TCU. Now you're giving Bill Belichick like 3 months to just study Josh Hoover. It kind of scares me a little bit. Not gonna lie,
Yeah.
because that like he'll have them prepared. I don't know if they'll be ready. That's actually two different things in my case. They'll be prepared, but I don't know if they'll be ready. I know you'll have some wide-eyed North Carolina players running out of that tunnel, and I don't know if that's going to translate to like success or to kind of a frantic play style. Because I don't know if the roster is necessarily there for North Carolina to be a top tier ACC team this season. I know that might be expectation, but it's a little nerve wracking, giving one of the best coaches of this era, maybe even ever, right, to a couple of months to just watch Kendall Briles' offense and prepare for that.
It is a little nerve wracking. I think maybe if it was like week 2 or something like that, I think the confidence would be even higher. Now I'm not too familiar with UNC's like roster, but I don't know if they like. I think the big thing with that Colorado game was TCU was just not ready for Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter. Like those guys went crazy, and I highly doubt that UNC has those kind of players on that team. I'm sure they're going to be probably decent, but it does that fear does kind of set in a little bit. But I'm going to give the Horned Frogs a dub here. Start the season 1-0 and feeling good.
I'd agree. Tentatively agree. I probably am less bullish on this game than you are. It just makes me nervous, to be quite honest with you. I do think a win here though could set the tone. I think a loss also would set a tone as well. Big time. But I'll give them a win. We'll give them a win in the spirit of optimism. I'll give them a win.
There you go. In the spirit of optimism. And we'll kind of have a more in-depth preview as we get to the week against UNC. But right now, we're just kind of going through each game and just kind of giving brief
rapid fire vibes. And, maybe I'm going against that tenant because the vibes for me are not great for the first game in terms of how I look at things. But I will give them the win because I want the vibes to be good. I'm trying to speak it into existence, I guess.
Well, this next game should be good vibes because it's against Abilene Christian, but it's in 12 days after the fact. Like TCU plays, not only do they have to wait, the last team to kick off, but then following that game, they have a bye. So it's such a weird start to the season for TCU. But on September 13th, they'll take on Abilene Christian, who almost defeated Texas Tech last year, but I don't think they will almost beat TCU this year. I'm going to give the Horned Frogs another win in their first home game of the year.
52-51 was the final score of that Tech Abilene Christian game that ended up going to overtime. I think Abilene Christian went for 2 in overtime and didn't get it. I think that's what happened in the first overtime. Yeah, I think a win here is, pretty easy to, I'll put my stamp of approval on that one for sure. I have no quarrel with that, especially you're giving them 2 weeks to prepare for Abilene Christian. My main worry, though, and I don't think that they're going to lose this game, but that they could look a little lackadaisical given the game that's happening right after it. Are their eyes looking ahead to something else? That would be my main concern. I don't think they lose this regardless, though. But they might look a little lackadaisical.
Yeah, because the game they'll be looking at for week 3 is against SMU. And we obviously know the season the Mustangs had last year, trip to the college football playoff. They lost the ACC championship game to Clemson, which was pretty funny. Yeah.
And then you remember when Kevin Jennings threw 2 pick sixes in a row against Penn State?
That was funny. They looked pretty bad against Penn State. Winning a college football game is playoff game. College football game. Winning a college football playoff game is not for everyone. See, even when I talk trash, I can't do it right. What was pretty bad though was the way TCU did look against SMU last year. They gave up 66 points. I was so sick of hearing Tom Brenneman's voice on the CW while we're just getting demolished. every other play.
Sonny Dykes gets ejected in that game.
Yeah,
It was bad. You want to talk about maybe the worst vibes ever? Worst vibes ever was second half against SMU.
it was putrid. This is obviously a huge game because it's the final game of the Iron Skillet for now. I mean, we'll see if it comes back. Um, new AD at TCU, so who knows? TCU's looking for their 50th win. They've got 49 wins, 42 losses, 7 ties against SMU. And the way the theme has kind of been over the last several years is one team will win 2 games in a row and then the next team will win 2. So going back 2017, 2018, TCU won those. Then the next 2 years it was SMU. And the next 2 years after that it was TCU. So now it could be SMU's turn to win this year. This really is a toss-up for me. At home does kind of help a little bit for the Horned Frogs. I really don't know where to go with this game. I want to hear your thoughts on it.
Listen, I think there are a couple losses on this schedule. I don't think that TCU is going to go 12-0. And I think that the SMU game, I think the North Carolina game, obviously, if you were reading into my tone, I think the North Carolina game could be one of those. I think the SMU game could be one of those. In fact, here's the deal. I think over half this schedule is a toss-up. And that's what makes, I think, predicting TCU's record, which I think the win total line right now for TCU is 6.5. And I definitely could see a world where there's an over and the under there hits. Like there's worlds for both of those. There's a 6-6 world. There's a 5-7 world. There's an 11-1 world. And that's the nature of the Big 12. I think that there is a loss in the cards here, but I think you'd have to think that there would be some energy and some, motivation to go out and beat them. Yes, the reason this game is not being played anymore is TCU's fault, and I think that there's going to be a bit more of a fire under SMU's butts to win this game because of that. If you don't think Rhett Lashley's going to just be spewing fire hatred about how TCU is canceling this game essentially in the weeks leading up to it, then you don't know what you're talking about. Mm-hmm. That will be happening. You just got to hope that Sonny Dykes, the chief motivator of men that he is, goes out and does the same. I'll give TCU a tentative W here, but that does not mean that I don't think that there is a loss potential, maybe even greater than 50% in there.
I'm right there with you. A tentative W for now. We'll see how TCU looks going into that week, how SMU's looking. Because do they play Baylor the week before?
They do.
Yeah, so that's a really good test. I mean, if SMU just kind of handles Baylor, I'm going to be a little bit more nervous about that game. But it's going to be
the 2 weeks before. 2 weeks before, sorry, but still, okay. They play them before.
But it's still a good test. I mean, to see kind of where SMU's at, where Baylor's at as well. But I'll give TCU the win for now, 3-0. But again, it's just hard to tell. It is hard to tell.
I think as we go through the schedule, that will be the kind of the tenor that we're striking is that it's hard to tell.
Yeah, and it doesn't get much easier after that because then they head on the road to take on Arizona State. These two teams have not played each other since 1975. ASU won 33-10. It's been a long time since these Frogs have played the Sun Devils, and ASU's coming off an incredible year.
What are you talking about? These two teams played last year, and the final score was like 27-14. Oh, that was the baseball game.
Don't remind me, Seth. Don't remind me. Oh, nightmare fuel for me right there.
Yeah, what are your thoughts on this one? A road trip to the desert in September. It's going to be hot.
It's going to be hot. Arizona
it's on a Friday night, though. Friday night.
It is on a Friday night, so maybe Arizona State fans will not be showing up as much as they would if it was a Saturday game. It's Friday night, 8 o'clock. I know some people that went to Arizona State. I know that football is probably the last thing on their mind on a Friday night, 8 o'clock. So we'll see. I think that won't be a huge issue. I could be totally wrong. I'm more concerned about the talent level between Arizona State and TCU. Now, could Arizona State kind of soar below expectations? Because a lot of people feel like, yeah, this is a top 3 team in the Big 12, and they could make a run right back at it. Um, who knows? I'm going to give TCU the loss here, though. I think it's just going to be tough coming off a game against SMU. You've got one less day to prepare for Arizona State, and you got to hit the road as well. I think it's going to be tough, and I'm going to give TCU the loss.
Yeah, the short week here does not help whatsoever. Coming off what's bound to be a very heated fight against SMU, to then having to go into Tempe and rally the troops again on a short week is tough. I have TCU also losing this game. But here's the deal. Here's the thing. They could win it. They have the ability to win every game on their schedule. That is the end all be all. TCU can win every game they play. This is the same thing that happened last year. It's just that they have to go out and do it. And sometimes that's easier said than done. But I have them losing it. Sam Levitt's going to throw for 400 yards or something like that. I don't know.
Let's hope not, but it could very well happen. All right, next week they've got an extra day because then they come back home and play on a Saturday against Colorado. No Shadur Sanders, no Travis. Did you just do a forks up, Seth?
No, this is a dub.
Oh, okay. I thought you did a forks up. I was like, what?
No.
Yeah, I see what you did there.
This is
okay.
a dub.
This is a dub. This is a dub against Colorado. It is very much a very interesting to see how Colorado is going to bounce back this season. No Shadur Sanders, no Travis Hunter, Caden Salter, the quarterback for Dion. And
Dion really hasn't been there in Boulder for much of this offseason. He has been back here in Dallas because he has had some health problems. He had surgery for bladder cancer, and thankfully, they were able to remove that, and he's A-okay. But he has not been in Boulder for much of the season, and obviously he's probably back. He's definitely there for fall camp, but how much of a factor does that play in everything?
It could be huge for sure. And I just don't think Colorado's going to have enough to beat TCU. So I have them at 4-1. That's the record you.
Yeah, and we have we have not strayed yet.
Yeah.
We have not differed. 4-1 heading into October 11th.
Which is a date with Kansas State in Manhattan. The last time these two teams played, TCU got absolutely destroyed. They lost 41-3. It was at Kansas State. And I'm not saying that they're going to lose 41-3 again, but I'm going to say that it might not be super pretty for TCU. I just think that's a tough place to win in, and I'm going to give the Horned Frogs a loss here. 4-2.
Okay. This one's tough for me because I think that, obviously the history, or at least the last 2 games that TCU has played against Kansas State, have not gone the way that they wanted them to. That's the Big 12 championship game in 2022. And then in 2023, the death of the Chandler Morris era in Manhattan.
Oh, man. The death of the Chandler Morris era.
But before that, you had a win at home, a comeback win, right? In 2022, they beat them after Adrian Martinez and Will Howard got hurt. Because TCU was quarterback injury city in 2022.
Yeah, that's true.
And then there was a game in Manhattan. I believe it was in 21. Maybe it was in 2020 where Max Duggan went bulldozer mode and like ran over like 400 people in that game, and they won in Manhattan. So it is not impossible to beat the Wildcats on the road. So that being said, I think I have them winning this game, mostly because I am like maybe peak Avery Johnson doubter.
Yeah.
They said, "Hey, Will Howard, you can leave. We have the next coming. We have the next guy. We have the dude, Avery Johnson." And I was like, "Wow, they have a lot of confidence in this blonde, long-haired dude." And I mean, he was fine last year, right? He was fine, but K-State, if you asked a K-State fan last year, did that team live up to expectations? They'd probably tell you that it did not. So I got TCU winning this one.
Okay.
It'll be tough though. This one's like right there in the middle. Like, could go either way.
It could, and it should definitely be a fun matchup. As we get later into the season, it is really going to be difficult to say how TCU is going to look as we sit here on August 7th without having played a game. So, take these with a grain of salt. But it's just fun to
please
yes.
take these with a grain of salt, please.
Do
we might
not
rehearse. Yeah, please take it.
What were you going to say?
I mean, we might like revisit this after the North Carolina game, and we might just revise this. Like, oh crap, they're going to lose every game now because they lost by 40 to North Carolina.
Yeah, and I say that we're going to lose to SMU or Kansas State, but when we do the preview, I'm allowed to change my mind. I can say, hey, Kansas State's looking really bad.
Yes.
We just don't know what trends are going to happen throughout the season. And that is the case here with the next matchup against Baylor in Fort Worth. This could be, if both these teams continue to play as advertised, if they live up to the expectations, this could be one of the more highly anticipated matchups between these two schools in a little while.
Well, especially given like the way that the schedule works out for both of them, where I think there's a legitimate shot that both teams coming into this game could have some very marquee wins under their belt. Some very big marquee wins under their belt, and could potentially be like ranked if in like a certain world, because Baylor prior to the TCU game plays Auburn, SMU, Arizona State, Oklahoma State, and Kansas State. By the way, Baylor Auburn week 1, appointment viewing. If you are not watching Baylor Auburn week 1, I don't know what you're doing.
Gotta watch it. That's a good matchup.
Yeah. But like Baylor and TCU will have played SMU, Arizona State, and Kansas State. They'll have 3 similar opponents. And I think we'll know a lot by that point. Who's better? Maybe they're at the same. My biggest disappointment with this game is that it's being played on October 18th.
Not the last week of the season.
Yeah, I just don't understand why the Big 12 decides to do it this way.
It really doesn't make much sense. I don't know. I instead we get Cincinnati, so that's awesome.
Fire me up. What do you got here? I could go again. I could go either way with this one.
I really do not want to pick TCU to lose against Baylor, especially in August. So
yeah, that's terrible. Don't do that.
I'm going to give TCU the win.
Okay,
you're about to give them a loss, aren't you?
No, I'm not. They're going to win.
Okay. I thought you were setting that up to say, yeah, TCU's going to lose this game.
No, I mean, like, listen, I got TCU at 6-1.
Hey, that would be sweet. That would be so sick. I would take that.
The vibes are going to fall into the toilet after this next one here for me.
Believe it or not, same here, actually, in Morgantown against West Virginia. Is TCU probably a better team than West Virginia at this point of the season?
No,
definitely.
Definitely.
but it's Morgantown.
It's Morgantown. Pat McAfee's probably going to be there for some reason. It's going to be bad.
We barely got out of there with a win in our national championship season. And that was looking bad. Like, I thought we were going to lose that game at times. So I don't know. I don't.
Bad things happen in Morgantown. Bad things. And I have them losing this one mostly because I think I have like a set number of losses that I think TCU is going to have this year. And I just had to like sprinkle them across the board. And I think that TCU is going to have like 2 stinkers against 2 teams that they probably should win against. But since they're on the road in tough places to play, they're going to lose them. And West Virginia is one of them.
Yeah, it's. I hope we're wrong, but I don't know. It just something that just seems weird about playing West Virginia right after Baylor on the road. Oof, I don't know. Don't like the vibes. I think I had my record wrong when I was saying Baylor because I have them. Okay, I have them with 2 losses. So was that week 8?
You have TCU at 5-3 after the West Virginia game.
Okay. That's 5-3. Following
I
the
was
West
6-2.
6-2. Okay, so then they come back home and they take on Iowa State.
Dubs. It's a win.
Dubs.
It's a win.
Yeah. I feel good.
It could be a loss though. Here's the thing. It could be a loss.
Yeah. So I got them at 6-3. You got them at 7-2. Taking on BYU on the road. Oh boy. It's not a fun place to play either.
No. And here's the thing. I think that given there's a couple of schools of thought here, you could automatically give this an auto win because the fact that BYU's quarterback situation is anything less than certain at the moment, given what has transpired over the last 2 months with Jake Retzlaff and how he's no longer there. You could give him the win because of that. Or you could just say, hey, it's Provo. It's probably going to be at night, and it's going to be ruckus, and it's going to suck. The altitude is going to suck. TCU's going to be wheezing. They're going to be breathing hard. They're going to be, getting all the oxygen they can on the sideline. I have this as a L.
Okay.
But I'm not, of all of the losses that I have pegged on here, this is the one where you can most easily sway me to switch it to a dub. If you gave me a good case.
Yeah. Again, it's so late in the season that we just don't know what trends are going to be happening. BYU could have their quarterback situation figured out. I don't know. Or it could just be in the toilet. I'm hoping that it's in the toilet, so I'm giving TCU the win.
I love a good game where TCU gets to go on the road to a school in Utah and the quarterback situation's in the toilet. It's always a great grand time.
That's oddly specific because it's odd because if I had
2 nickels for each time TCU went to Utah late in the season and the other team's quarterback situation was bad, I'd have 2 nickels, which is weird.
But it happened. It could happen.
Yeah, I have this as a loss, but mostly because I did this. I kind of ran through this like about a month ago, and I haven't really switched things up. And spoiler alert, I have TCU finishing in the regular season at 9-3, and I had to find 3 losses. And part of my thinking was, where do I want the 3 losses to be? Where would I feel best about the 3 losses being? I don't want it to be against SMU, and I don't want them to be against Baylor. So I automatically give them dubs there. I don't want it to be against North Carolina in week 1 of the season because I don't want to start off that way. So that's a dub there. I'd love to go into Manhattan and win there. So that's a W. So where do I sprinkle in the rest? Probably Arizona State, Morgantown, and then BYU Provo tonight. There you go.
That's fair. That's a good analysis right there. And so we have them at 7-3. I think we don't really need to go into Houston and Cincinnati very, very much. I think we both have those as wins, which means we did not talk about this before, but we both have TCU going 9-3.
And probably not good enough to make the Big 12 title game, since that's 3 conference losses. They'll be 6-3 in conference play. Probably not good enough.
It's probably won't be. You got to be in that 10-2 range at the minimum to be in those conversations. But to me, I don't think 9-3 is a disappointment at all, given the schedule. It's at the moment, it's not super easy. 9-3 to me is a success, but I could be wrong.
It is a success, and this is a very optimistic prediction that both of us have. It's very optimistic. There's definitely a world where 6-6 is on the table.
100%, yeah. And then this is an extremely important year for this program, for Sonny Dykes, for everything. You had a really rough start last year. You built some momentum towards the end, and you felt good about where you left things off. But now you got to start getting back to that consistency. And
yeah, it's we got stuff to do here, guys. We gotta win football games. Here's my cat. He's
here. And we got cats on laps to talk about here. While Seth figures that out, I totally agree. It's an extremely important season for TCU, and it's going to be fun to watch this unfold, but fun to do record predictions at this point of the year.
Listen, I think the main goal for me, there's 2 primary goals. Primary goal 1 is make the Big 12 title game, because that if you make the Big 12 title game, that is a play-in game that's a playoff game, essentially. It's a playoff game, right? You win that game, you're going to the playoff.
Yeah.
And I think TCU's expectation as a program in the Big 12, given the uncertain nature of Big 12 competition, is TCU's goal should be to rise above that and compete year after year for Big 12 titles. That is what the expectation of this program is right now.
100%.
The secondary goal is to make the Pop-Tarts Bowl.
This is very important to us.
This is very important. The goal, I think, and we kind of ran this out the other day, me and you, just not on the show. The best thing that could happen this year, and I don't even know if it's possible, given I don't know what SMU's bowl tie-ins are right now, because I know that those would get wacky with conference affiliations. They might still have the American bowl tie-ins, but that might not be the case. I have no clue. The best case scenario is TCU SMU Pop-Tarts Bowl.
Give it to me. The fans need it. DFW needs it. Let's do it.
Can you imagine?
TCU versus SMU in the Pop-Tarts Bowl. That would be absolute cinema.
Nothing would make me happier. Nothing would make me happier. Or maybe scared as well. I'd be frightened.
Yeah, I mean, it would be a little bit frightening, but seeing that Pop-Tart emerge from the toaster is, and just the vibes there, it's incredible. Come on. How does it get any better? Does it get any more American than TCU versus SMU in the Pop-Tarts Bowl?
No, and that would be like the dream. That's the secondary dream. Of course, the primary dream is
that's my primary dream, actually.
Okay, that's fair enough. Fair enough. The primary dream, obviously, is make Big 12 title game, win Big 12 title game, compete in a first-round playoff game because you're not going to get a bye, and just compete in it, maybe win it. Probably not win it, but compete. Show you belong on the field. Mm-hmm. I think TCU, as a school and a program, needs to do that on a national stage, where ever since the national championship game, and then you parlay that with the loss to Colorado in the very next game, the next season, there is a bit of a we're kind of, bottom feeder laughing stock. Like, they can't play with the big boys. That's the reputation. I don't know if it's earned. Maybe it is, but that stigma needs to be getting rid of soon. because for years that was not the case. I think TCU football had very high stock from like 2010 to 2017.
They did.
And that has not been the case for the last couple of seasons.
And they gained it back getting there to the national championship, but then yeah, like you said, it kind of did get stained by that Georgia loss. It's time for TCU to get back there. Like maybe not to the national championship, but just get back, and show people that TCU isn't really a school to be laughed at. And I think the same is, you could say the same for SMU too. I mean, I think following that loss to Penn State, and then they lost to Clemson, a lot of people felt like they shouldn't have even been there in the first place. They did. They deserved to be there. And so I think both of those schools are kind of looking to gain that national reputation back and say, no, we're not pretenders. Like, we belong here. So I hope TCU can do that. That would be sweet.
Yeah, I think the roster's there for at least competing in the Big 12 this season. But again, that you could say the same thing about half the teams in the Big 12.
Yeah, the Big 12 is crazy. It's a lot of talent and very balanced. Should be a lot of fun. But that was a fun time. Both of us again going with that 9-3 record prediction for TCU. Hopefully they can live up to that or do even better. We'll have to see. But that'll wrap things up here for this episode of Believe in TCU. You can follow us on Instagram, subscribe to our YouTube page, or listen to us wherever you get your podcasts, all at Believe in TCU. So for Seth Dowdle, I'm Zion Trammell. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you guys next time. And as always, go Frogs.